Hey guys, welcome to Refinery29's YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Lucy and I'm a video producer at Refinery29 and I'm also on camera in a lot of our content, and my job has led to me having a bit of a social media following on Instagram, and so pretty much every single day I open my Instagram account and I have private messages from people asking me all sorts of questions. I was going through these questions recently and I realized there are so many questions that I just haven't answered yet. So it's no wonder you guys have a lot of questions. So I made a post on Instagram where I asked people to comment the questions that I've never answered below, and I got hundreds and hundreds of them. And I'm just gonna go through a few of the questions that I got and I'll give you my honest answers. Before I get started, give this video a thumbs up. I just had to sneak that in there. Okay, let's start. So here is the first question. Flower Power Emily asks, when did you realize you were in love with Michael? To be honest, I think it was the very beginning. We started dating in 2009, and pretty early on in our relationship, we made a little video together that I have on a DVD at home in my drawer, and I remember putting that video away and saying, I need to keep this in a safe place because I want to play this at the wedding. And that was almost 10 years ago. The Nebby wants to know, what was your very first concert to go see? My first concert was in the year 2000. I was 8 years old and my dad got my whole family tickets for Jingle Ball 2000. I don't remember much from the occasion, but I do remember that it was New Year's Eve and we walked right in to the Baha Men singing, "Who Let the Dogs Out?" That was fun. Abe Schwab asks, what is your favorite Try Living with Lucy episode? That's a tough one because they're all like children to me. But if I had to pick, I think my favorite episode, at least to shoot, was 5 Days of Facing My Fears. More than any other episode, that one took me far outside of my comfort zone, but I had so much fun doing everything I did. So even though I was screaming when I crunched on the crickets, secretly, I was having the best time in my life. Allison Kitten wants to know, what is the best way to learn how to edit videos and what software should a beginner use? Videos. Disclaimer, this is coming from someone who's never taken a class on how to edit videos. I've only ever learned by sitting and watching other people edit and then watching what their fingers are doing and copying it for myself. But I truly believe that the best way to learn how to edit is by just editing content. Shoot something on your iPhone, drag it into iMovie, and play around with it and edit it. At Refinery29, we use Adobe Premiere, which is a really high quality editing software. It's very similar to Final Cut. The only thing about Adobe Premiere is that it's not free. You have to buy the entire Adobe Creative Cloud suite, and then you download the Premiere application. For a beginner, I would say iMovie is more than enough. Rachel London O asks, how tall are you? I am 5 feet and 7 inches tall. LJ2828 asks, what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? Alright guys, story time. When I was about 12, I was on a family vacation to Aruba and I was playing this game on the beach with my brother and his friends at night. Never go on the beach at night, that's just probably not a good idea. We were playing sort of this dodgeball game where we were hiding behind stacks of pool chairs and running away from each other and trying to peg each other with the ball, and I went off by myself, was hiding behind a stack of pool chairs, and I kind of saw that there was a figure standing off to the side of me. And I didn't look to see who this person was, but I just sensed that they were there, and I wasn't particularly scared. I felt very safe. The next thing you know, and I'm not kidding, this is not a joke, the next thing you know, said person stands up, walks 2 feet towards me, and just drop kicks me in the head. I just want to show you what I mean by drop kicked. This person just walks right over to me and just goes right in my head. I just flew across the beach. I just looked over to see what had just happened and I saw this teenage American boy just walking away from the scene. I actually didn't learn that much information about this kid. I think he was just an American that was on vacation in Aruba at the same time who got a little drunk and went around and kicked a young girl in the head. I never heard from him again. I never got kicked in the head by him again. And to this day, I still don't know who he is, where he is, or what his deal is. But sir, if you're out there and you're the guy that kicked me in the head, you're mean. Gold Coast Grace asks, who did you idolize growing up? I'm not sure I idolize her anymore because I don't know her current whereabouts, but back in the 90s, I totally idolized Amanda Bynes. She killed it. She had the Amanda Show, all that. She was hilarious, she was smart, she had a great head on her shoulders, and she was overall an incredible role model in the 90s. Hannah Carl 721 asks, what is the best and worst thing about living in New York City? There are so many great things. I don't think I can pick one, but if I had to, I think I would say that my personal favorite thing about living here is just constantly being reminded of how magical it is to live in such an iconic city. The other night, I was walking with Michael to our favorite ice cream shop, and on the way back, our view uptown is just a straight view of the Empire State Building. And I said to him, how amazing is it that the walk back from our local ice cream shop has us looking at the Empire State Building, which is this iconic building that's known around the entire world as a New York City staple landmark. And here we are, right in front of it. And my least favorite thing about living here has got to be the subway system. I don't know what New York is doing with the subway system, but it is so confusing. I lived in London for a couple of months and I took the tube, and let me tell you, that tube is clean as all hell and it is so easy to get around. In New York, without fail, before you go underground, you need to look at a phone or check out the MTA website and make sure you know what subway to take. And not only is the subway a little bit confusing, but it's also pretty dirty. I've seen a number of rats cruising around the tracks. I've gone down there and I've smelled and seen urine, but I've got to say the subways are the best way to get around. I take them every single day, and part of me kind of likes the rats. Aaliyah Beal 4 asks, do you want kids? And if so, how many? Yes, I do. I want children, and I think because I come from a family of 3, I would love to have 3, but Michael comes from a family of 2, and he'd love to have 2, so maybe we'll have 2.5. Music Improv asks, what is something that people commonly misunderstand about what you do? I get the feeling that a lot of people think about my job and envision what I do, and they probably think that everything is so much fun. I'm going to this restaurant and I'm trying the food, I'm dancing with the Rockettes, I'm making donuts, I'm here, I'm there, I'm in Costa Rica. I'm sure it looks like a party all the time. And don't get me wrong, getting the opportunity to do all of this stuff and try new things every day for work is a party. It's so fun. But I feel like a lot of people think that I show up on a set and there's a whole crew there waiting for me and we're all ready to go, and I just hop in the video, do my fun thing, and then head on home. And that is not how it works. I should probably make an entire video about the process of making videos because there's a lot to unpack here, but especially working in digital versus traditional media, if you're a producer, you're doing everything. First, you gotta come up with the idea, which honestly, I have to thank you guys majorly because I take most of my ideas from the comment section. Then once you have the idea, you have to reach out to all the people involved. You have to consider the legal implications of where you're gonna shoot. You gotta make sure to get all the proper forms signed, plan the video, and that's called pre-production. Then you go on set, and usually it's just me and one camera person. It's very run and gun. 2 people, we go in, we shoot what we need, and then when it's done and the footage gets dropped off with our post-production department, it goes through an editing process. I have to be available via email to watch cuts and give notes to the editors until the video comes out looking the way that I envisioned it. So there's a lot more than just showing up on set and having fun and trying new things. It really is about seeing the video through from start to finish until it's fully uploaded and it's on YouTube. Rach Anna G04 asks, when did you start shaving? I was in 8th grade when I started shaving, and I remember it very clearly because I was at summer camp and I had wanted to shave for years and years before, but my mother would not let me. And I remember being at summer camp with all my friends shaving, everyone was allowed to, and I was so jealous that I'd even asked them if I could shave them for them. So my camp friends will tell you I've shaved their legs, I've shaved their armpits, and I'm pretty good at it. And then around 8th grade, I started shaving, and I remember shaving my legs and my armpits and feeling so old. Once I had the razor in my hand, I felt, wow, this is it. It was like the same feeling I had when I drove a car for the first time. It was like, I am shaving my body hair. It was great. Hava Schultz asked, how much did you vlog and how big was your following before you joined the R29 team? Before I worked at Refinery29, I actually didn't vlog at all. At that time, I was really focused on my stop motion videos and creating artistic work that I was using as a portfolio to get my job at Refinery. And I think around the time that I started at Refinery29, I had about 2,000 Instagram followers, and most of those people were either friends of mine or people that followed me to watch my stop motion videos. Maddie Tidro asks, how do you make long distance relationships work, especially ones from high school? How to make it work? First and foremost, I think that there's just something innately that some people have that makes them able to do long distance relationships. And I can't verbalize it, I don't know what it is, but some people have that ability and other people just can't do it, and that's okay. The second most important thing is trust. The third is the ability to visit one another. And the final thing is having a real willingness to grow on your own. Just because you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you should stop prioritizing yourself and taking care of yourself and growing as an individual. So having a real willingness to take care of yourself and allow yourself to be present where you are and to make friends and do things on your own is actually really important to the future growth of your relationship. Emil Johnston asks, have you ever had dark times in the past with self-doubt, insecurity, depression, etc.? And if so, how do you deal with them? In high school, pretty early on, my sister Allie and I realized that we weren't exactly that similar to everyone else. So if you asked us what our ideal Saturday night looked like, we wanted to put on pajamas, put on fuzzy socks, throw a movie on, and eat some popcorn. A lot of people we were friends with wanted to go out, they wanted to try smoking, they wanted to drink a lot, stuff that just didn't sound that much fun to us. In high school, a lot of times the people that are really into the partying and drinking and trying the drugs, those are the cool people. And I felt like something must have been different or wrong about me because I didn't want to do that. And I think the way that I dealt with it was that somehow at 15, I had the foresight to recognize that my life was going to be so much bigger than what was happening right then and there in high school. And I really do think it's hard for a lot of middle schoolers and high schoolers to recognize in the moment that their current situation and their current gossip and all the drama is just not going to be important one day, because you think that's it. You think this is your life, this is your bubble, this is your world. But if I can impart one piece of wisdom on you, if you are stressed and struggling and feeling insecure or feeling like you don't fit in, just know many of the people that are currently important to you right now will not have any importance in your future life, and you, as you get older, will be able to pick and choose who you remain friends with and who stays close to you. The Cowaburger says, girl, I got some real ish. A couple things I'm curious about with being an internet personality. One, how do Instagram sponsorships / advertisements work with you? Or two, how do you get with all the photographers who do pics for you? Great questions that I think everyone who's on Instagram who sees sponsored posts should know. First and foremost, when you have any semblance of an Instagram following, brands are going to naturally reach out to you and want to send you their products. Most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time, they're not sending you money to post the products, they're just sending you the products. And I've now turned Thursdays on my Instagram stories into Thank You Thursday, so I can thank all these companies for these products. But at the same time, there are plenty of products that I'm getting that I'm not showing, and that's because I either don't believe in the brand, or I don't particularly care about it and I don't want to push it onto my audience, things like that. So the next phase of this sponsored Instagram world is when a brand actually pays you to post about their product. And that's a completely different story than just a PR company reaching out. That's actually a formalized program. There are contracts involved. You've signed something, you've agreed, you get the product, you post, and then you get paid. If you see #ad or #sponsored on the post, that's their way of disclosing to you that it was paid. I don't want to speak for everyone, but whenever I take on a paid sponsored partnership, it's a brand that I actually really do like and really care about promoting. And then for the next question about how I get photographers to work with me, a lot of times we just connect over Instagram. If I see there's a New York City-based photographer whose work I particularly like, I'll reach out and ask if they want to collaborate. Sometimes they reach out to me and they ask if we can set up a time for them to shoot me. And then we both will share the photos individually on our feeds, and it becomes mutually beneficial. Tessa Lynn Hunter asks, if you could work anywhere rather than Refinery29, where would you work? I think I'd work for NASA. I want to go into space. Yeah, in another life, I think I'd be an astronaut, flying through space, zero gravity, squirting water into the air, and biting little balls of water as they float by. Mira P36 asks, where did the name Lucie come from? Good question, and there's an answer. My full name is Lucinda, and I was actually named after Lucinda Scala Quinn, who is one of my parents' really good friends, and she's actually a TV personality with Martha Stewart. She's a chef, she's got a show, and my mom and dad always loved her name. So when they knew they were having kids, they actually asked her for permission to use the name Lucinda for one of their daughters. And as a young girl, her nickname was Cindy, and she told my parents, don't call her Cindy, because I was called Cindy and I didn't love that name. I always wished I was Lucy. So if you take the name Lucinda, you have to call her Lucy for short. And my parents agreed, and the rest is history. Thanks so much for watching this vlog. I really hope I answered all of these questions as well as I could have. Also, I haven't done that many of these videos where I've just been sitting here and talking to the camera, so if you have any other topics or videos like this that you want to see, comment the ideas below and I will definitely read those ideas. Click here if you haven't subscribed yet, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it, and we'll see you next week on Refinery29. Bye! Surprise! He's here. Bye! Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Click here for another video on Refinery29, here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and right here for my personal YouTube channel. See ya!
Subscribe!
That was Michael.